Hello and welcome back to the Human Instrument Mastery Podcast. Today we have another episode in our Business 101 series, and I want to take you deeper today into one of the most important principles in business and in life, embodied attraction. We've all heard about client attraction strategies, funnels, demographics, audience avatars, and yes, strategy matters a lot. But none of it works if it's not rooted in embodiment, because attraction isn't ultimately about what you do, it's about who you are when you do it. I always say information alone doesn't create transformation. We live in a world where you can access endless free information, podcasts, books, courses, YouTube tutorials, but knowing more doesn't necessarily change your life. Think about it. How many times have you read about a practice, meditation, journaling, a diet plan, and felt inspired in the moment, but nothing in your life shifted? That's because it stayed on the level of information. True transformation happens when you embody the teaching, when it moves through every level of you, spirit into thought, thought into emotion, emotion into action, and action into results. That alignment, when every level of your being is resonating together, is what creates attraction. It's the magnetic pull that draws aligned clients into your world. And this is why I call it embodied attraction, because it's not about a script or a formula. It's about who you are when you speak, when you serve, when you take action. Here's the truth. Your clients don't follow your words. They follow your resonance. They're drawn not to your perfection, but to your growth. They see the path you've walked and recognize themselves in the steps you've taken. They sense that you've embodied an identity they're longing to step into. And here's where it gets really powerful. Every time you upgrade your identity, you open the field for a new level of clients. When you shift, that shifts too. And your clients transform. To bring us to life, let me share part of my story. Before I ever started a business, I was a musician and a music teacher for 20 years, but I felt called to unwrap another gift, coaching and healing. I trained in certifications and modalities, but my deepest initiation came through my own healing journey. In my late 20s, long before I transitioned into coaching, doctors found precancerous lesions in my cervix. It was a shocking diagnosis. They wanted to operate immediately, but something in me knew this wasn't just a medical issue. It was life knocking on the door, demanding I listen. So I made a choice that seemed radical. I asked for 3 months to see if I could heal through inner work. And in those months, I dove deeper than ever before. Inner child healing, somatic practices, dream work. And the core of it all was my childhood trauma, losing my brother who had cerebral palsy when I was 6. For years, I had understood this story intellectually. I'd talked it through in therapy, but this time I entered it differently. I entered with embodiment, with deep presence, feeling, and healing. And something extraordinary happened. When I returned to the doctor, the lesions had begun to reverse. My body was healing. That process didn't just save me physically, it reshaped my identity. It called in a new partner, who is now my husband for more than 15 years. And it launched me into a new dimension of myself. Naturally, when I started coaching, those were the kinds of clients I attracted. People carrying trauma, longing for healing. And I loved that work. I still do. But over time, as I grew, my clients evolved too, because identity always attracts resonance. Who you are becoming shapes who shows up in your field. About a decade later is when I transitioned from music into coaching. And after working for some months locally, charging 25 euros for a coaching session, I started to take my work online. I wanted to reach more people, and I invested heavily in learning strategy, all kinds of programs and coaches, and at first it seemed to work. I hit 3,000 months and then 10K months very quickly. But less than a year in, I was completely burnt out. I was depleted, anxious, hardly seeing my family. My skin broke out in painful flare-ups that left scars I still carry today. And yet, I kept pushing. I was jumping on calls with anyone. I was attracting people who were not ready and who would never say yes to work with me, to invest in themselves, to really commit to a transformational journey. But I did that because I thought that was what success required. Eventually, I couldn't continue. I shut everything down. I let go of my team, stopped all marketing, and went back to zero. It was terrifying, but it was also one of the greatest gifts I've ever received because it forced me to see that strategy alone wasn't enough. I had to upgrade my identity. That's when I started working with mentors like Bob Proctor and Dr. Joe Dispenza. I learned how to shift the subconscious program, what I now call the program that the human instrument is operating on. I realized I wasn't here to shrink. I was here to grow into a new identity that could hold more energy, more clients, a bigger vision without collapsing. And as I did that, everything shifted. My business grew again, but this time with clients who were ready, clients who invested, who committed, who transformed, and team members too. This is the essence of the multidimensional self that we all are. You are not fixed in one identity. You exist across infinite versions and timelines. Imagine a country you've never visited before, maybe Singapore. You've never been there, but you trust it exists. You'd buy a ticket, book a hotel, plan a trip without ever doubting it is there. Your future identities are like Singapore. They already exist. You may not have been there, but yet they are as real as Singapore. You can step into them right now. The fact that you haven't yet traveled there in time doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. You see, time and space are not separated as we perceive them to be. The choice is always, do I relive an old story, the trauma, the burnout, the fear, or do I embody a new story, a new life? Because you travel along timelines all the time. When you retell your old story, when you still live by the same old blueprints of the trauma you've experienced in the past, you are traveling back in time and reliving it as if it is happening today. The old story is seductive. It is addictive. Fear is addictive. Pain is addictive. The body gets hooked on the chemistry of the familiar. But familiarity is not freedom. Freedom is choosing a new identity even before it feels familiar. So I want to leave you with a question. What identity are you embodying right now that is shaping the clients you attract? And even more important, who is the future version of you that your aligned clients are already waiting for? Your clients don't need your perfection. They need your growth. When you upgrade your identity, your resonance shifts. And when your resonance shifts, the people who are ready for you will find you. This is the true essence of embodied attraction. It's not about chasing. It's not about convincing. It's about becoming. And as you keep becoming, the right clients, the aligned clients, will always be drawn to you. If you would like to integrate this further, I would love to gift you with a free client attraction meditation that comes with a short, simple, but powerful worksheet that will help you integrate and implement and internalize this information, because that is when transformation happens. So send me a message on Instagram, and I would love to send you the link to this free meditation, the Aligned Client Attraction Meditation and Worksheet. Thank you for listening.